Our next distinguished award goes to Woman of the Year, Patricia Sullivan. And responsible for her table is Sarah's Care. And to make the presentation, here's Dan Norris.
Well, it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you tonight my trusted mentor, valued colleague, esteemed judge, and my good friend, Pat Sullivan. Before she comes up here, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Woman of the Year that I know. Don't get nervous, Pat. Pat Sullivan's tough, ethical, honest, fair, and funny. Her personal motto could well be the same one as the Boys and Girls Club: to do whatever it takes to build a great future. In our profession, Judge Sullivan did that by inaugurating and championing drug court, because she understood that there are just some things you can't do alone. She understood that women in the criminal justice system have unique needs, so she started a drug court and an alcohol court exclusively for them. Her commitment to juveniles both in and out of the courtroom is well documented. Most importantly, she was one of the foundresses of Project Dove, dedicated to assessing and assisting our most vulnerable victims. Pat once told me that some cases take years off of your life, and then she promptly dumped half of the child abuse load from her caseload to mine. What she was really telling me is you need to build on the interdisciplinary child abuse team that Lucy Hutchins started and that Pat made into a potent force for good in our community. Pat loves her husband Larry, her children, grandchildren, traveling, and her cats. Larry, it's not necessarily in that order. And Pat Sullivan loves this community and has shown us that love for the last 4 decades. Please join me in welcoming a person who has been Woman of the Year every year for her time here, my dear friend, the Honorable Judge Patricia Sullivan.
And I'm so honored that all of you came. And I want to say some special words about judges because I've got the floor and I can say whatever I want. When I first became a judge, one of the very first things that happened because of the timing is that I was getting ready to go to my first judicial conference. And I asked my husband, I said, well, we're getting ready to go to the judicial conference. He said, well, I'm not going. And I said, you're not? He said, oh no, judges give me the creeps. And I said, you could have mentioned that before you decided to be one. Let's explore this a little bit. Do Judge Robin and Judge Pratt give the creeps? Oh no, I've known them forever. It's just large groups of judges. Apparently they fall in the same category as those other notorious givers of the creeps. Catholic nuns who taught parochial school in Madison, Wisconsin in the 50s and 60s. And we've discussed this further too, and the judges that are sitting now don't give him the creeps. He's known them since they were all very young. I don't think Judge Joyce or Judge Mahoney could give anybody the creeps even if they wanted to. So who gives him the creeps? Apparently large groups of judges. I don't know if that's a murder of judges or what that is, but large groups. And then one local judge, me. And one of the things that he was really happy about when he retired was he no longer has to appear in courtroom one with my great big pictures. Because it gives him the creeps. I hope judges don't give you the creeps. I feel that I have to say something to honor these judges because of what they've given me. Judges are under attack now, and I think you all know that. Day doesn't go by that we don't hear attacks about the justice system and judges. And I just want to say something about the people I've worked with. who have had the highest integrity, highest work standard, and inspired me to do my very best. They're here tonight. Judge Pratt, Judge Rogman are here. And the judges that have succeeded me, Judge Landis and Judge Hung. Most of you have no idea the work they've done on a state level to improve the judicial system, because it's gone unnoticed in the community. And all those trips across the other side, all those times that we made the extra effort to make sure our voices were heard from Eastern Oregon, and the hard work that they've done. It's not easy to be a judge and work with facts and seek truth and justice. That's what we're trained to do, but for some reason that's kind of not in fashion. It's absolutely necessary that we recognize our judges and what they've done, because upholding the rule of law and having a healthy democracy is worth it. And judges are the bulwark. Thanks. The last time I talked to a large group was at my retirement, and I finished my speech there, which was kind of silly now that I think back about it. I actually sang during that speech, which I'm going to spare you tonight, with a quote from Anne Frank that I'll say again, that she believed, in spite of everything, that people are basically good at heart. And that was in June 2016. And when I think about that now, I think I was awfully naive, because my belief in that has really been tested over those years, and I bet yours has too. But I can say confidently to you now that I can still say I believe in that quote. And my sister and I believe that sometimes we get little signs about things, and I had one the other day that I just told her about, where I encountered a 2-year-old girl, and I asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Mabel. And I don't know how many 2-year-olds you've met that were named Mabel, but I've never met any 2-year-olds named Mabel. And that was my grandmother's name, so I'm going to finish by talking to you about her and why I feel that she would want me to still believe. My grandmother was one of those people that she was famous in her hometown of Logan, Utah, for hanging around the church after it was over and looking around to see if there were people during the Depression, and the warriors especially, who didn't look like they didn't have any place to go or needed a meal, and bringing them home. She died when I was 7, but I have very vivid memories of her. She took me with her when she visited the sick and shut-ins, and she explained to me why she did that. She sat me down one day and we watched John Ford's The Grapes of Wrath when I was 7 years old. And she explained to me what that movie was about so that I could understand it. And that stayed with me my entire life. And the thing about my grandmother that is so important, and what I want to share with you, is she didn't believe that service and building good communities and all those things was something that you did because it was an obligation or to be a good Christian or anything like that. She believed that that was part of what human beings are, that they do good by other people. So what I want to finish with in memory of my grandmother, and I want to thank all of you for bringing out the best in me and inspiring me, hopefully, to do good. And in this time when there's so much unkindness and so much negativeness, be optimistic, and above all, be kind. If we build this community the way that we have built it in the past and continue to build it, we'll always be strong. And I am proud of this community. I'm proud to be a part of it. And if I've done anything to make it a better place, it's because of all of you and the fact that I really genuinely care for all of you. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.